hosted by George. Good morning. Coming to you a little early this morning because I've got some other things going on later. As usual, you can make comments or email me. Well, not email me, but go on Facebook and find Just Listen, hosted by George, and send me your comments. Today is March 13th. And as you all know, today's Friday the 13th. Imagine that. And also, it's St. Patrick's Day weekend. So I'm sure a lot of you have plans. So enjoy the weekend because when you get your news, they can really lay a lot of information on you and you need to recover over the weekend. Okay, so let's get started here. And let me pull up my documents here. Okay, so as you are aware, this has been a busy week for Illinois, and I've been telling you what's going on. So, this is the latest information for Southern Illinois and what voters need to be paying attention to. As you are aware, March 17th is the actual day that you will go and vote in the primaries. And I have been promoting that everyone vote in the primaries and also get to know the candidates. So, what matters is that there is participation from voters and you can form your own opinion. And the podcast is really about giving information and then you can form your own opinion. All right. So I want to mention something first to kind of grab your attention. Uh, as you know, we are in a conflict with Iran. Remember, I don't say war because my opinion is we aren't in a war. Okay. So I wanted to talk about something that is affecting you, first of all, in the state of Illinois is gas prices. As you are aware of, gas prices have been high the last 20 years in Illinois, and we have one of the highest gas rates. But I wanted to tell you something that you probably didn't know. I mentioned it Monday in my podcast, but I'm going to mention it again. Some states like Illinois apply their general state sales tax on top of a specific motor fuel excise tax. So that is two taxes that you might not be aware of. Now, why is this important? If we're calling gas prices high because of the conflict in Iran, the mainstream media needs to remind you, in my opinion, look at the state that you're in. Are they only looking at in the states where it's high just to bring your attention to it? Because we have 50 states. Are they high in all of the states? And what I just said. Because if you didn't know that Illinois had two different taxes, you might say, oh my God, it's because of the conflict. So that is just something to be aware of. Now, here's what's happening with the elections coming up, the primaries. So the focus is that the governor is going for a third term, and the focus from the Illinois administration is that the budget tightening is very important this year. So he's focused on affordability, reproductive health care, and education investment. And yeah, I think every cycle that's what it's been. Also, fiscal restraint, 2027 budget to address the deficit, which we've talked about. So it's 2.2 billion. probably more than that. These are projections. And he's also of note, meaning the governor. Uh, the other Democrats are asking them to do a millionaire tax, but the governor says that he wants to keep wealthy people in the state. Affordability agenda. Executive actions include a new program providing up to 15,000 in down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. Okay. And I would add to that, you have to not make over a certain amount of money and the bar is low. So please look up that one because it's not all first time home buyers. And of course, the Democrats, to include the governor, are actively urging Congress to block federal tariffs that were recently struck down by the Supreme Court. But remember, on that, it was only one category of tariffs. So listen to my podcast to get more information about that. All right. So for the U.S. Senate on the Democratic side, they are talking about using blue slips to block judicial nominees and restricting presidential pardon powers. They can't actually do that, but they can talk about it. And then one of the candidates is campaigning on federal versions of Illinois birth equity initiatives. So that's what the Senate candidates in Illinois are focused on the Democratic side. So the Republicans, they are focused on economic affordability and reacting to federal policy shifts. And what they mean by that, the shifts equal money being given to Illinois and what the impact of what the Democrats' response is to that. So, so the candidates for governor are talking about affordability, focusing on high property taxes and utility costs. In the primary, uh, for Senate, the cost of living and reducing federal spending and addressing spending costs. That's what the Democrats are focused on. And there's two congressional contests in the 17th and 9th districts. And the Republicans are emphasizing border security and then sanctuary city policies and fighting federal tax increases. So, and that's on target because that's what the House of Representatives does. All right. So the Illinois State Legislature, they are focused on affordability. So the Democrats are close to the multi-billion-dollar budget gap. Priorities include cracking down on junk fees and increasing uh, revenue through taxation. How to close it by they're going to go after countries by countries. They're going to go after insurance companies because they say that they have raised the insurance rates. Excuse me. Something to be aware of on that. I own a house in Illinois, and one of the reasons mine goes up is because of having to have flood insurance. Illinois passed a law probably 4 or 5 years ago that said that insurance companies had to uh, do the rates that in Illinois you had to have flood insurance unless you contacted the insurance company and you explained to them that you weren't in the flood zone. So that's just an example of what Illinois does, the legislature, and the unintended effects, or it could be intended. All right, energy and data center. Concern regarding the high power and water consumption of AI data centers, with members proposing supply side energy reforms. That sounds a little not going to help out taxpayers. All right. And there's some new laws in effect, okay, including the mandatory secure firearm storage, a ban on awaiting periods for missing person reports, and protections against AI discrimination in employment. Remember, I talked about the AI discrimination in uh, employment, something that voters really need to look at to see specifically the language in there that you might not agree with. So look up that AI discrimination in employment in Illinois. All right. So what they are debating this week, and we're talking about the legislature, the Adult Content Age Verification Act, aimed at restricting minor access to harmful online material, a $2 million grant for first time farm buyers, implementation of physical assisted death, which was passed previously but requires health officials to establish protocol before taking full effect later this year. Here's what the members of the Republican side are working on. They have several core policy concerns. So they are talking about real affordability, and these are the House Republicans in the state legislature through tax reform, eliminated taxes on tips and overtime pay, and providing education tax credits. That's what the Republicans would like to get out there. Election integrity, significant discussion regarding a proposed federal bill that will require proof of citizenship to register to vote and photo ID for federal elections. Then discussing the repeal of sanctuary city policies and increasing support for law enforcement to address crime and illegal immigration. So, and the Republicans are criticizing the state's reliance on one time federal funds and expressing skepticism toward using state dollars for projects like the new Chicago Bears Stadium without private partnership. So, this is what they've been working on. So, if we start with the legislature, which the Democrats have a super majority, as you can see with what I'm pointing out, the priorities for both groups is totally different. And by looking at what I'm seeing, the Democrats are not pushing for any kind of reform on taxes. They are talking about the federal government, that they are missing money. So they had to figure out how to get the money some other way. And I lay that out for you as well. And the candidates, the primary is March 17th, like I told you. If you watch the TV, all you really see are the Democrats, and the governor has endorsed the people that he wants to run. And he's also running a statewide ad of his accomplishments. Um, on the Republican side, I can hear crickets because they, at least in this part of Illinois, have not advertised at all what they stand for. And if I were not talking to you every week, you wouldn't know what they were doing on the Republican side. And opinion part, if they really want to have a chance at least making the general election competitive, they need to start early. I suppose that after the primary, whoever the nominee is on the Republican side for governor, Senate, all of those things will start doing ads across the whole state because the whole state votes in these elections. Now, for the state House of Representatives, no, it's certain areas. So, what is the Republican Party doing in Illinois? I would say that they have a chance to really take some of these offices. They just need to be focused on affordability in Illinois. Affordability in Illinois is not good. And it resonates because when I talk about the gas prices, a candidate running for governor at least could point out that the price is high for other reasons as well. And they are double taxing gas in Illinois. And it is hard to believe that if people knew that they would vote for a candidate that is promoting those values and not telling you why the gas prices are high. Okay, well, we have reached the end, and I appreciate you listening. Please subscribe. Please pass this on to someone else who wants to know about the politics in Southern Illinois and vote in the primary. I'll be back Monday at 10 a.m. and have a great day and have a great weekend. And remember to talk to someone or shake someone's hand that you don't know and smile. And that's how we can change America.